Well, it's been a long time since we updated the old 944 plus LSV8 project here, but we actually got back to working on it today. The last time we worked on it was the middle of July last year. Sorry about that. Other things kind of got in the way, and I really hate working underneath the car on jack stands, and that was the thing that had to happen. Was I had to get the drive shaft pressed forward inside the torque tube, and then get the torque tube and drive shaft back into the clutch and the pilot bearing and everything, and that is torture under this car, because you have to roll the torque tube around upside down, and it has these 4 hooks on it that hook into the rear suspension. Well, the rear torsion bar tube that goes across the car in the back, and the drive shaft, the torque tube has a bell housing on it, so then you run into problems with the gas tank being in the way back there and other things, and it's just a large pain in the butt to get it done. But we got it pressed forward. This is what I used. Basically a 4x4 with 2 holes drilled in it for that match up with 2 of the bell housing holes in the back of the torque tube, and a couple pieces of all thread, some washers and some nuts, a piece of flat bar stock to measure stuff against the back flange of the bell housing, and a couple wrenches, a Sharpie, and my favorite hammer. Use that on everything just about. But yeah, we got it in there. There it is. Let me get the light back here some. So that's it. It's in there. See, it's bolted up to the bell housing. So the other thing is the shift rod sits on top of the torque tube. So every time you move it, you have to make sure that the shift rod stays on top, because you can get it into positions where you'll just get the shift rod jammed in there and you'll have to take it all apart again. So didn't want to do that. So it's in there finally. I was dreading this job, but we finally got it done. The rest of it should go pretty smooth. I mean, we've got some repairs and such to do, like the oil lines need to be replaced. I am still not sure why the oil lines blow off of this. I think it's something to do with the oil pressure. I mean, it doesn't seem to do it once the oil's all warmed up. If it's cold and you run it out to 6,000 RPMs, that's usually when it happens. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I should get a bypass type filter so it doesn't get over pressurized. I don't know. We're going to look into that more. That's a project for another day, but right now the oil lines are off of it, so that's another project. There's the transaxle just sitting under there waiting to go. Still have a bunch of stuff to bolt back together in the front. The sway bars not bolted up to the chassis or anything, and naturally the whole exhaust system's off of it. There's the bell housing up in there. Let's see, it's all bolted together now. That's where the oil lines go. Well, they go from there to the remote filter in the fender well, and usually blow off. So I don't know. The rest of this might go pretty easy, because the rest of it's all the easy stuff. Well, except for wrestling the transaxle in, that's always fun, but that's a half a day job, not too bad. So yeah, we're going to get back at it. Oh, wait. Just for fun, this is what I was dealing with here. So here's the instruction sheet from Renegade Hybrids on the distance the drive shaft is supposed to protrude into the bell housing. So we did all that when we did the conversion, but when we pulled it out, well, when we pulled the transaxle out, we decided we would go in after the clutch and the flywheel. So we pulled the drive shaft torque tube back, and the nose of the drive shaft got stuck in the pilot bearing. So as I was pulling back the torque tube, the drive shaft was staying still. So it got all pushed out that way. So I made some calculations and some measurements, and basically the drive shaft has to stick out of this flat surface on the front of the torque tube 1/6 and 1/8 inch. So I had to push the drive shaft 2 inches that way. So that's what we accomplished today, and got this bolted back to that, and we're ready to move on with our lives. So that's it for today. Hopefully, before it gets too hot out, we'll be driving this thing around again.